Conceived by Jedi Commander Ahsoka Tano during the Clone Wars, but most famously employed by Grand Admiral Thrawn, the Marg Sabl Closure Manoeuvre is a complex space combat tactic requiring a skilled commander and a highly coordinated crew to execute. Intended mostly for use by KDY destroyer-style capital ships, such as the Imperial class, the Marg Sabl involved the commander of a warship turning his vessel on its axis so that the ship's launch bays faced away from the enemy fleet. Given that almost all larger warships mounted their launch bays on either the dorsal or ventral hull, this movement would cause the vessel to appear to be neither attacking nor retreating, but adrift and seemingly vulnerable. Theoretically, the hostile commander would be lured in by the promise of an easy victory and bring his fleet into close firing range. With the enemy fleet now packed closely together a short distance away, and any semblance of battle formations long forgotten, the commander employing the Marg Sabl would deploy his entire complement of strike craft, launching from the hangar deck now completely obscured by the mass of the ship. The fighters and bombers would immediately split into squadrons and sweep around their mothership in an open cluster formation at maximum speed. Then, using a carefully planned zonal attack pattern, the squadrons would proceed to strike the vulnerable areas of specific hostile vessels with frightening speed and efficiency, taking full advantage of the enemy's confusion. Employed correctly, the Marg Sabl Closure Manoeuvre could be devastating to a hostile force, on rare occasions even allowing a single vessel to eliminate over a dozen hostile ships in quick succession. The complex and unstructured nature of the manoeuvre makes it highly difficult to execute, especially for a crew that has never employed the tactic before. But it is this same complexity that makes the Marg Sabl almost impossible to defend against once a victim has allowed himself to be drawn in. Species known to possess a psychological blind spot for unorthodox tactics are highly susceptible to the manoeuvre, almost always falling victim to its trap. And perhaps even more vulnerable are vessels commanded by droids or tactical computers, whose simple and ordered programming leaves them simply incapable of responding to such an unstructured attack. Though often highly effective, the Marg Sabl is not always a guaranteed victory, and several factors can contribute to the manoeuvre being unsuccessful. Insufficiently skilled starfighter pilots unable to keep up with the rapidly changing attack vectors can cause the final pincer move to be unsuccessful, with the fighters suffering extreme losses at the hands of point defense weapons or becoming caught up in dogfights with hostile squadrons before they can perform their attacks. In addition to this, the tactic is vulnerable, like all other deceptions, to a more skilled or experienced commander who could potentially see the trap coming and take measures to avoid it. The extremely complex and unorthodox nature of the Marg Sabl manoeuvre speaks to the natural intellect and creativity of its creator, Ahsoka Tano, who was not only highly inexperienced, being only 14 years of age, but also under extreme battlefield conditions when she developed the tactic. The manoeuvre truly earned its fame after it was employed by the legendary Grand Admiral Thrawn against an Eloman task force during the Battle of Obroa-Skai. During the engagement, Thrawn used his extensive knowledge of art and culture, in addition to his highly advanced intellect, to determine that his Eloman adversary would be particularly vulnerable to the Marg Sabl. Thrawn frequently used this method across his career, analysing the artwork of his adversary's species to determine which tactics and manoeuvres would prove most effective against them. And while a successful Marg Sabl manoeuvre can be devastating, a Marg Sabl performed by Grand Admiral Thrawn is unstoppable. Hello everybody, thank you for watching part 3 of our ongoing Thrawn Week collaboration. If you've missed parts 1 and 2, you can find them linked in the description, and be sure to go and subscribe to Star Wars Explained to make sure that you don't miss part 4 tomorrow. For a full event timetable, head over to the Spacedock social media pages so you can see what's coming up. Thanks again.